Okay, hello. Now I should be live on Facebook. Let me just check if I am live on Facebook. So this has been a bit of a change because it should be, yeah, here we go. Live on Facebook. Live. So if I am live on Facebook. So this has been a bit of a change. Wrong. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I should have been live on Instagram, but my phone yesterday fell and the camera broke and the screen broke, so it was a bit of a disaster. And I've decided to go live on Facebook instead of Instagram. But since I know there's some people waiting for me on Instagram, I'm also going to go live on Instagram at the same time. Dun, 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 dun. I just need you guys to confirm if you can hear the piano now. Take a train to Spain. Come to visit me down in Italy. If you can let me know, if you can hear me, that would be great. So I know that I can carry on with the live in this way. See? No. Okay. How comes that Monica can hear me and Caroline cannot hear me? Right, we're not starting very well. Let me try again. Sounds for musician on. What about now? Take a train to Spain. Come to visit me down in Italy. Now, is it working? Should be now, because I changed the settings. Yes, okay, and I guess you can also hear this. Rexy was a dinosaur, with its voice he could not roar. Can you hear everything? Tell me yes, ukulele on. If that works. Let's see. Hopefully yes. I have no idea of how it's gonna work perfect. I have no idea how it's gonna work on Instagram. So I'm just gonna go on Instagram as well, and then it will be anyway recorded on YouTube and here available. So let me just write it. Narration-based classes at Music Tree. All right, let's go live here as well. And turn the camera though. I'm facing the wall. Very interesting live, facing the wall. Oh, here we go. Hello, I'm live also on Instagram. So, 10 people are there. Who's there? Caroline, Erika, Monica for sure. Ella, this is the first time that I think I see your name in my live on Instagram or from here. So if you want to tell us where you're from, that would be very nice. Ciao Vale, come stai? Okay, so let me know where you're from and who you are, because it's very nice and useful for me. It's easier for me to run a live. So today we're gonna speak about what's inside here and what's inside here. Okay, this is just my notebook. Well, my notebook, my agenda, my diary, where I write the things that I have to tell you during the lives. So, today we're speaking about the narration-based classes, which is a name that I've decided to use to describe the kind of sessions that I do in my sessions. I know that there are other people that maybe use the word storytelling, and other people, Tampa, Florida, present, nice. Nice to hear from so far away. Jada, nice to see you as well. Okay, basically, I don't like to call it storytelling because it's not storytelling. I don't like to say that I use stories because I don't use stories. I create the stories with the children. So basically there is a narration. okay? There is a narration going on in the session when kids are able to start having this type of imaginative play, okay? Ella, I am from Poland but living in Denmark now. I'm a composer, musician, and garden educator. Ah, okay, nice, great. Maria Helena from Brazil. Nice, obrigada. Tell me where you studied the garden theory, Ella. I'm very interested in understanding that. In Poland, probably you studied it. Okay, so narration-based classes at Music Tree can have multiple ways in which we do it, okay? The most important thing, though, that I want to I'll highlight immediately is not that we take a book and then the whole session goes around the book. It's not that. And it's not also that we have a music class where we do something completely different from the book, and then at the end we're like, oh, let's just take a book and read the book at the end, which doesn't really make any connection with what we have done before. No, this is not how I mean, what I mean when I say narration-based classes. In this type of classes at Music Tree, we co-create the story with the children. We co-create a world and an adventure with the students during the class, okay? So it can start from a topic. For example, it's snowing outside, which is something that doesn't happen every day in London, so we have a big window. We definitely want to speak about that snow, okay? Because all the kids will be looking at the window with the snow coming down anyway, and they will probably have arrived to the session with their boots and big scarves, you know, whatever. So we take a topic that interests the children in that moment, and we co-create with them the adventure that we're going to live during the music session. To be able to do that, you have to try to go very, very close to your own creativity of when you were a child. But also, in my case, for example, I have done and practiced improv theater. And through improv theater, you understand how to observe the room, understand how to read the other participants of a scene, okay? Because in improv theater, you have a scene that you are going to perform on a stage without knowing anything about that scene. You don't know what character you're gonna be. You don't know where the story is gonna be happening. You don't know the world in which this is gonna happen, okay? You have no clue when you enter the stage sorry, somebody just tried to call me. No, okay. So I was saying, you have no clue of what you're gonna do when you're entering the stage. And that's exactly what happened at Music Tree during this type of sessions. I have no clue of what I'm gonna do with the children in some of the classes. Oh, come on, I cannot respond now. Okay, well, this is the very bad thing of having the phone connected to the line. Sorry, guys. So really there is a cooperation going on with the students during the sessions. As I said, we could have a topic. For example, I know that this book is a very nice book that gives to the children a lot of inspiration, and it's called The Animal Boogie. I don't even use the melody of this book. There is a CD on the back. There are even the parts of it. This is not a book that I wrote, okay? The Animal Boogie is from Fred Penner. The music is from Fred Penner, illustrated by Debbie Harter. It's quite a nice book. It's very colorful, okay? And the music, I don't even know how the music is, but I have opened the book one day because I had the children that were... So these narration-based classes are born from the needs of managing the group, okay? So I was really struggling with some particular groups to catch their attention and to have them engaged, to detach them from their families, from their parents. I want them to become a bit more independent during my sessions. So basically, these narration-based classes are very good to work with children that are able to have this type of imaginative play. So they need to be able to create a little abstract thought, okay, and have a symbolic thought. Until they cannot do that, then you cannot really play this type of imaginative games, okay? And this type of thoughts start developing when children are around 18 months old, but really they develop a lot when kids are age 2.5, 3.5, until they are 5, okay? So be careful to do not use this imaginative play too early, okay? And I'm saying imaginative play because in these classes, apart from the book, we don't use objects, okay? So these are not classes full of toys, full of little animals that we move, full of puppets. No, there are no puppets, no little animals, no real rainbows, no real horses, okay? Everything is in the imagination of the children. And that's why I'm telling you, you need to be careful and wait until they are really able to understand this type of game, okay? This type of playing. Anyway, if you use a book, of course, this will help you. But with children age 18 to maybe 2 years old, a bit less earlier than 2, maybe you have a book and they understand exactly what you're saying because there's the book. And then you take away the book and you're like, oh, now we are on a jungle and I can see some flowers. If they're too young, they don't see the flowers, they don't understand what you're talking about, and you lose them again. Okay, so you have to be careful when you decide to introduce these games. How do you know these things? By studying child psychological development, opening books and reading about the cognitive maturation of children. Okay, or and then you will be able to observe the children and start understanding what are these stages in the development of each of the children and when is a good moment to introduce this type of games in your classes, okay? If you have decided to come to the Music Tree teacher training course, you will have a psychologist that will speak about this, that she does an entire course on this online for the participants of the course. And you will also have a possibility to experience improv theater with Antonio Vulpio, which is one of the teachers, okay? That's why in the teacher training course of Music Tree, there is an improviser. Now, having said that, I said you can start from a topic, you can start from a book, you can start from an idea of a children. So, for example, at Music Tree, when we have children coming in after school, saying that they are 4, for example, here in England, they are already in school when they are this age. And I have, in front of me, I have a big mat where they can start the session by lying down. So they have like a very gentle warm-up. And I sing a song, bum, ba, ba, da, ba, bum, ba, da, ba, bum, ba, for example. Okay, this is a Mixolydian song that I composed during one of the narration classes by observing to the children. But anyway, for example, they start to move on the floor, and then when some of them might say, "Oh, this song reminds me of dinosaurs." Wow, maybe we can all be dinosaurs. So you can take the ideas of the children as well to create your class, okay? Now, why should we use narration-based classes? As I said, remember to wait the moment in which they can actually understand this type of imaginative play, and then use them to manage the group, because children at this age are very immersed in this type of world, okay? They read books, they start watching maybe some cartoons, and also they start imagining themselves things of life. So they have this type of role play as well starting happening. I am the dinosaur and you are the child. Okay, they do this type of things. You can really see that happening in the kids. So this is a special framework, okay, that we can use to guide the children into music. Okay, so the main goal of these classes is not the class itself, or is not one song itself, but it's just a way to engage the children and create with them. Because if you are co-creating the games, the activities, and the journey, well, children will be engaged the whole time. They will bring up their own ideas. So this is also a very good way for them to start expressing their emotions and their ideas. They will start using language. So this is also a very good way for them to start expressing with a language what they want to work on. Even if in MLT classes we're not encouraging the use of language so much, but in this type of sessions, of course, we want to get the ideas from them. So it's actually nice to hear them speaking and see what they want to create in the session. And also in this way, basically, you're creating for yourself different windows, different games, different doors to worlds where you can use the music that you think is best for that type of activity. Which doesn't mean that one song will become the song of the snow, one song will become the song of the dinosaurs, especially if you're singing pam-pam songs. No, you don't need to to link one song to one topic, okay? Because the songs that we're singing don't have lyrics in this case. They are all MLT type of songs, so no lyrics on them. Therefore, you're kind of trying to match the emotions of the children and their ideas with songs that you have in your mind or that you have studied in your repertoire. It means that you need to know at least 50, 60 pam-pam songs by heart, so you can observe children and match their way of being in that moment musically, which, by the way, is also a technique of music therapy. Okay, so in this way they feel recognized, they feel centered, they feel listened, okay? So there are many aspects in this type of work, okay? You are constantly observing the children and creating your classes based on their needs and their ideas. So, music therapy aspects, emotional aspects, language aspect, linguistic aspects, musical aspects, and of course, all of these facilitates a lot the movement in children. So they will start moving much more, they will start engaging with the movement that you're creating, they will come up with more movement ideas themselves. Does this make sense to you? At the base of this, there is a very simple trick that comes from improv theater. So when you are going on stage in improv theater, and somebody gives you an idea, I'll give you a simple example. I am entering on stage, okay, and I'm doing this movement. What am I doing? I'm painting a wall, right? So maybe somebody else will come in and they will have to say yes to my proposal, which is about painting a wall, and add a little thing. So the secret, really, the first thing that you learn in improv theater is this yes and. I am going to accept your proposal and I'm going to add something else to it. Okay? But a lot of times when you're improvising, you're doing this, everybody in the stage have understood what you're in the audience, have understood that you're painting a wall, and then somebody else enter, and because they are kind of nervous, we're gonna be like, what are you doing? And it's like, why are you telling me this? It's clear that I am painting a wall, okay? But it could be like, what are you doing? Why are you painting the wall that I did it last week? There's no need to paint the wall today. Come on. This is yes and. I take your idea, but I add something else. I bring to a scene something else. So this yes and can happen during our sessions as well. Because, yeah, exactly, Andrea. Andrea, I was painting. So, so in the classes, these type of ideas surge and are born all the time. For example, you could have a child saying, "Oh, I'm a dinosaur. Look how I'm stomping around." But you can say, "Yes, you are a dinosaur, and we are now all trying to be dinosaur." One response to it. Or, "Yes, and you can be a dinosaur, but we are playing something else at the moment. So why don't you play as a dinosaur while we are actually maybe being trees?" Or whatever. Okay, so yes and doesn't mean that you have to say yes to everything, and even if it's completely breaking your session or bringing you to a completely different world or moving you too far away from your current game. No, yes and means that you are able to add something to the idea of a children, okay, and bring them where you want. Now, the most important thing that I really would like you to remember is that I perfectly know that my goal is music. When my students come to my sessions, I want to guide them and improve their musicality. This is my goal, okay? I know how to do it because I've studied Gordon's music learning theory and I use loads of different techniques coming from circular music and blah, blah, blah. But I perfectly know that there are some steps and some patterns or some songs that it would be better for me to sing in my sessions to help them going through their musical development. So this is simply a framework, okay? It's not that I focus too much on this. And that's why I don't have toys, okay? I have objects that I use in the sessions to help the imagination. But those are the simple toys that I use all the time in my classes, okay? So now I'm gonna give you a few examples so you can understand a bit better how it could work. And in my book, Sing Their Creativity, okay, at page, let me see, don't even know my own book. Narration-based classes, page 42. So if you go to page 42 of your book or the PDF, here there is narration-based classes and a little explanation of why we should use this type of sessions that are, remember, co-created with the kids. And then to give you some examples on how this could be developed, I have written 3 different plans that now you have as plans in the book, but these have been created with the children during the sessions. How can I remember them? Because I record myself, okay? So usually during my session, when I understand that something new is happening, I open the audio and I start recording my session. So then I can go through the audio of the sessions and I can either transcribe everything I've done, so I can take inspiration to do it with other children, or I can pass it to other teachers. Because in my school we are 16 teachers, 5 or 6 are working with groups, so it can be useful for our teachers of my school to have maybe an idea that I got in one class, okay? And for them also, they can share ideas in the WhatsApp group that we have. And then I decided to put it in the book as well, okay? To give another type of idea to work with children age 3 to 5, okay? This is a book specifically 3 to 5, but in reality you can start using it when they are 2, 2.5, okay? So there are 3 examples here. We have a jungle, we have the unicorn land, and then you have the ocean, okay? I don't have shells for the ocean. I don't have unicorns in my room, and I don't have real trees and dinosaurs in my room. Everything is in our imagination. This picture that you see, for example, these two girls, okay, which the parents have been very nice and gave me the possibility to use the pictures of the children. These two girls are having a melodic bar from one ear to the other, and those are shells for them. Those are the seashells that we have found on an island. Before, those seashells were coconuts, okay? And before that, they were giving us the sound of the waves of the ocean, okay? So, as I said, in the narration-based classes, you don't absolutely need toys. But if you want to introduce this type of things when the children are a little bit younger, then maybe you need 1 or 2 toys, only because their imaginative play is still not yet so well developed, okay? So, for example, when I'm singing the song of a kangaroo, if we go to Australia, I do have 1 kangaroo, but it's 1. I don't have 45 kangaroos that I give to all the children and the parents, okay? I only have 1, which is here with me, and it jumps. Sometimes they might ask it, but this is specifically when the children are so young that without seeing the object, they could not really understand what I'm speaking about, okay? Finished. Okay, 1 little thing here and there, but not a full room of toys. And pay attention, because I did start in my music education career 20 years ago with a full room of toys. And then little by little was like, well, I do have all of this stuff that are just getting the attention of the children instead of actually helping me. Okay? By the way, I'm very happy to hear your thoughts in about this, okay? Because I know there are teachers all over the world playing with toys all the time and objects all the times. So I'm not judging. I'm just saying that this doesn't work for me. But if you are doing it and you think that the attention of the children is still on music and not on the objects, good for you. I'll show you another picture. This one, for example, that you have seen on Instagram yesterday and also on the Facebook group. In this one, in the middle, there are some bean bags, and those bean bags have become, during the session, a circle of magic, because we were on a unicorn land. I didn't think about a circle of magic before starting. I absolutely didn't think of creating a circle of magic with bean bags, but that's what came out, okay? And in this specific session, we had different islands eventually with different instruments. So we would work on the timbre of the instruments, and they would move between the islands, recognizing when it was the right moment to go and get the instruments and try different instruments at a time. And the islands were done simply with scarves. Scarves in my sessions when we are under Christmas time are they can become the, how do you call it, the North Pole lights. So they are all colorful up in the sky, so we can see Christmas, we can see Santa Claus flying over from Finland or whatever it is, from the North Pole to the northern lights. Then at the same time, those scarves would become maybe the sleigh of Santa Claus, and we would have some reindeers running around. So this is what I'm trying to explain to you. Use the objects that you have to make them being something else, which is exactly what we were doing when we were young, okay? I do remember playing with my brushes, you know, the brush to clean, and that would become like the flying carpet of Aladdin. And I would jump over, and that would be the flying carpet of Aladdin. So luckily enough, I have a vivid memory of when I was a child and the games that I was creating. And my classes, I basically just do things like this. but I take inspiration from them all the time. Now, to give you some stuff to start from, and so you can also try to explore this type of classes, I'm going to teach you a couple of songs, okay? The first song that I want to share with you is the one that was in my reel the other day, so you find it in my Instagram page and in the group as well. And this song was born during the pandemic because I was connecting every day with about 50 children from different parts of the world, and on Zoom, of course, and the parents would be there with them, and I would pretend that I was on my train, okay? So the song was called Take a First Steps Around the World, and that was also because we couldn't move anywhere, so I really wanted the children to feel and experience and have the dream of going somewhere. So the song, I was connecting first and I was on Zoom, and then we would have a song of a train, and then we would go to another land, and on Zoom there would be another teacher jumping in from a different country, singing a song in their own language with sign language to support the understanding of the lyrics. So this was the whole thing called First Steps Around the World, and we had about 50 children connecting every day for 2 months. So that was amazing. And in this way I met some of you as well, because some of you started following me online when I started doing these things for children. So this could be an idea where you can start from, okay? You can prepare, if you want, a train in your class. In my sessions, for example, I use these. Yeah, simple stools from IKEA. These are the seats for the children, but you can also use these if you want, the hoops. Okay, in each hoop you can have 2 children, for example, seated on a train. Or if you want, you can use the scarves. You put 1 scarf per child. It really depends on the age of the children, because the scarves move a lot. So if they're very young, then they spend a lot of time to try to fix the scarf on the floor, and then you cannot go ahead with your session. So sometimes it depends on how old. Oh, you can also use these ones. These ones, you can use these to make a train, okay? Each child will sit on a colorful spot. So, the song is the framework, is the image to start from. In this case, it's a train. Everybody on the train. Toot-toof, toot-toof. You can play salsa, Gigi. The octave, for example, is a toot-toof. And that's the signal that everybody needs to jump on the train. And then the song starts. So the train is slow because it's leaving the platform, so it's still slow. And then when you reach the speed that you want, you stop and you start singing. Take a train to Spain, come to visit me down in Italy. Okay, now let's go through the lyrics. Take the train to Spain, come to visit me down in Italy. Let's clap our hands in Finland. Shall we go to France to dance? Find the peace in Greece. Let's hear the band up in Iceland. Feel the thrill of Brazil. Take your first steps around the world. Okay? So this was composed because we had children and teachers specifically on these countries during the pandemic. So I'm gonna sing these lyrics for you, but you find them online, okay? Take the train. Okay, we start again. Toot-toof, toot-toof. Slowly the train is leaving the platform, and children would start moving their feet or move their hands. Take the train to Spain, come to visit me down in Italy. Let's clap our hands in Finland. Shall we go to France to dance? Find the peace in Greece. Let's course, this is very far away from Gordon, from simple, normal MLT of Gordon. Yeah, I know this, definitely. But Music Tree, it's not only Gordon. Music Tree takes inspiration, and the basis of our activities are inspired by the music learning theory of Gordon. But we need to do what we need to do as teachers, okay? So in this case, this is just a framework, and now we're gonna go through all the lyrics of a chorus as well. This is just a framework. Now we are in a land. Where are we? And the kids can tell you, we arrive to France, or we are in Brazil, or we are in the jungle, or we are, oh, I can see some horses. Really? Bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum. Can we all move like horses? Bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum. Okay, so now I am using MLT. And now I'm taking the inspiration from the children to decide what I want to do with MLT. Okay? In this case, children are in a stage of imaginative play. I cannot completely forget that in my sessions. I want them to be able to feel very much part of the sessions, have fun all the time. So then, in this moment, I have created the song, like literally improvised it now about the horse. Bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum 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 ba bum ba bum bum bum. Now, you need to be good. If you want to improvise the song, you have to be able to repeat it again. Okay? It cannot be A, B, A, B, the songs. You need to be able to improvise A, B, A, C, A, B, C, D, okay? Because you need to start creating, you need to give rich content in your songs to children. We cannot always sing repetitive things. But I've done a lot of work on vocal improvisation on myself. So I'm able to improvise the music during my classes based on what I want. And because I have also studied a lot of music, of course, I can imagine already the musical notes, more or less, but I'm singing, so I also have an extra level of memory for me, so I can repeat the song that I have just improvised. So that's why we do a lot of vocal improvisation in the training course of Music Tree, because I want you to be able to do this in your life if you need. Because it's just so much fun. You know, I'm teaching, I'm looking at the children, and I'm like, we're horses, let's go. I don't know. I don't know what it was. For example, okay, I can also play it on the piano. I can improvise it now. My work now is much more fun. This is very Italian. It's much more fun as a musician, okay? I am a music educator, but I want to have fun as a musician as well during my sessions. And a little bit as a music therapist as well, because I want to take care of other things as well, okay? So this is where experience, of course, play a role, because I've been doing this job for many years and I've never stopped studying, never stopped attending training courses, never stopped trying to improve my own skills as a musician and as an educator. So I am thinking now of attending a new master, but I just have to decide what type of master. Okay, so the training game is a very clear starting point that you're kind of imposing to your students, okay? But the train game can also come in the middle of a session if you are in another place, and then you decide that, oh, I think I'm gonna use that framework. So when you start from the train, then you jump and you get to another land. Okay, this was the land of the horses. And then they run around, they explore the space. If you want, you go with them and you are a horse yourself. If you have parents, they can become horses themselves. At some point, they start running too fast. At some point, you see that they are bored of it. At some point, you want to sing patterns. Perfect, you go with a pattern. Pam, 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 pam. And you go with the patterns that they need in that moment, okay? Or you can also stay here and just leave them doing their stuff autonomously, okay? Because they're growing, they need to learn how to be independent as well. And then you're like, now they're creating a mess. Back on the train, everybody! Toot toot! And you go back on your train. Take a train to Spain. Dun, dun, dun. And maybe you do just a part of this song of a train, and then you start again. You arrive on a new land, and then, oh, where are now? We are on I went to Brighton yesterday. Can be like that, right? I went to Brighton yesterday and I saw the sea. The sea, really? Let me see if I know a song about the sea. Swimming down into the ocean, feel the motion underneath the waves. I know a song about the sea, but I also know ¿Quién me enseñó? ¿Quién me enseñó? I think ¿Quién me enseñó a nadar? ¿Quién me enseñó a nadar? Foi marinheiro, foi os peixinhos do mar. Foi marinheiro, foi os peixinhos do mar. Finché la barca va, lasciala andare, finché la barca va. I don't know, okay, this is an Italian one. I'm sure you know songs about the sea. Of course, mine, the first one that I played, musical is a bit more interesting because it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a triple meter and it's Dorian. So I have and I will sing it with the lyrics first because we're playing with the imagination of the children. But I would also then sing it with Pam Pam because I want them to listen to Pam Pam, and then if I am able, I would start doing the patterns in the Dorian mode. Okay? Is it clear? Is it clear what I'm talking about? Che me insegnò a nadar, finché la barca va. This song that I just played for you is called The Ocean, and I have composed it in Italian and English, and it's in the book as well. So the idea is I have a strong framework that I use when I want, and then, you know, I bring the children to different worlds. Now, instead of something so clear, so structured as this type of train, which still have space for the children to tell us what they like, by the way, because I go to the lands that they prefer, okay? But you can also bring the children to the land that you want, okay? So music tree approach, the philosophy at the base is a cooperation with the children. So it's not only a child-led approach, and it's not only a teacher-guided approach, but it's a mix between the two, okay? If I have 20 children in front of me, maybe I cannot get the ideas of the children. In this specific session, the children are too active, they're not listening to me or whatever. They're tired, they are in a school that doesn't give them rules. We can have multiple situations that we meet. Maybe I go with a more guided activity. Instead, if I am in a very relaxed environment where the children are very happy to participate, or they have a right age, because also the age can determine if you want to be more guiding or if you want to be a bit more guided, okay? But in general, it's a cooperation with them. So the music tree, this is the thing: child-led approach and teacher-guided approach, belong together. Let me hear a couple of messages here. before I move on to two more things, I have it in my mind, no worries. Ella says, I don't know if you pronounce it Ella, but I hope so. I worked with MLT in Poland very extensively and completed many Gordon courses there. In Denmark, unfortunately, hardly anyone has heard of Gordon, so I'm just starting here. Cool, Ella, perfect. That's what I've done in England myself. There was nobody that knew Gordon here. And so in the beginning it was a bit tricky, but it actually works a lot. Charlotte. Where are you from, Charlotte, if you're still there? Charlotte says, incredible. Love your special framework. Nice, thanks. Okay, so then we have Klimt from Klimt Musicoterapia from Brazil, which says very clear. Very good. Okay, now the next option, first, chorus of a song. Fai un salto. Make a jump. That's in Italian. Fai un salto. Make a jump. Around the world. Baila y canta. Español. Yeah? Baila, canta. Around the world. Make a piri. Make a circle. Piri is a word from Finland. And I've introduced it because in this specific Zoom course, there were children from Finland. Otherwise, it's a word that is not so well known, but it's nice to have, words that we don't know as much. So, fai un salto around the world. Baila canta around the world. Make a piri around the world. Gira, gira, gira is Portuguese for turn around. Okay? And it's like this. Fai un salto around the world. Baila e canta around the world. Make a piri around the world. And gira, gira, gira. Fai un salto around the world. Baila e canta around the world. Make a piri around the world. Take your first steps around the world. You can change the lyrics, yeah? You don't need to use fai un salto. If you speak Russian or you speak another language, just go for your language, okay? Use the languages that you know and that you feel comfortable with. Now, these were all a bit more structured narration-based classes. In the second and more complex, potentially to lead type of narration-based classes, you are literally improvising with the students your adventure in the moment. Again, if you can, study improv theater and try yourself what it means to create and what it means to learn this yes and, this little rule of improv theater, to accept the proposal that you're observing, that you're entering on stage with, so that you're entering in your class and adding something else. Yes and is the first rule of improv theater, and maybe it's the only one, actually. I don't know. So let's have a look now at one of the classes that I have created with the children, okay, in cooperation, co-creation. It's the jungle story, okay? These kids were a bit messy that day. They were not listening at all, and I was like, you know what? Let's take a book. Let's see if with a book they stay more around me. As I said, if you just connected now, how did I write these plans in my book if the classes are actually improvised? Because I record myself during my session, so I could go to the audios and then I can write down exactly what I've done, what were the steps in which I've developed the things. And this is just a guide that I give to you or to my teachers at Music Tree, so they can start from something and then have an idea of how to create these narration-based classes, okay? So that day I was like, okay, these kids are not listening. They are all over the place. Let's just get a book so they can sit down. And I was just it was so improvised, this thing, that I even didn't know the music of this book. So I just picked the book and I was like, okay, there are some lyrics here. Maybe I can sing this. Very creative. Down in the jungle, come if you dare. What can you see shaking here and there? With a shake, shaky here and shake, shake there. Classic. Da, da, da. What's the creature shaking here and there? And the children were like, okay, this is not the music of a book, but I needed a song and I didn't know the music of a book. So I improvised my song. It's a bear! She goes shake, shake, boogie, woogie, woogie, shake, shake, boogie, woogie, woogie. And then it was too long, so I cut it down. That's the way she's shaking here and there. Cool. And then down in the jungle where nobody sees, what can you see swinging through the trees? Blah, blah, blah. So the children were a little bit more around me, listening to me, okay? At that point, I said, cool, we are in a jungle. Close the book after 2 or 3 pages. I didn't need to go through all the pages of the book. And I was like, nice, now let's create a jungle atmosphere using colorful spots. So I took the spots and I was like, pam 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 pam. So using the same song that I have used for the book with pam pam. And then at that point I was like, ooh, I start moving between these colorful spots, singing a new song though at some point, okay? When I was putting them down, I was using the same song. And then I would be like, let's sing another song now. And then I was like, okay, we're moving around and we can be trees. For example, okay? So at that point, I suggested the children to be trees on the spots. And of course, the children would follow at that point, okay? They would start feeling like, oh yes, we're trees, blah, blah, blah. And then what happened? One child tells you, there's a lot of wind. Really? So they're facilitating the movement. You're still using MLT. You're kind of suggesting a free exploration as well, which is what Gordon suggests us. And then you're like, oh, no, there's not much wind anymore. Okay. At that point, I wanted to create something extra. Okay, we had these colorful spots on the floor. We have done the trees, and I was like, yeah, let's do something else. So I took the scarves, the colorful scarves, and I was like, yeah, I need to pass them around now or do something else. I felt that the children need something new. So I started passing the scarves without really knowing exactly what I was doing, okay? But one of them told me, oh, this is a wonderful flower of a tree. And I was like, that's a wonderful flower indeed. And so it was pum 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 pa pum pa pum pum pa da pum 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 pum, passing the flowers to the children, and then of course you start singing a major song, and then you go to the patterns. I'll make a flower and I throw it to Marcus. Pum pum, one flower to Marcus. And Marcus, pum pum. And now one flower to Julie. Pum pum. And now another flowers to Julie. Pum pum. Okay. So you start creating the games with the children on their ideas, but you're putting inside what you want. In this case, I wanted to put Gordon's MLT. Okay, so basically we had a few various ideas around this, and then at some point I was like, oh, I remember last week I used a nice song about the rain coming down, and I think that in the jungle there is some rain sometimes, isn't it? So I brought back a game and an activities that I created for another group, and we all sat around a big drum, yeah. And we started playing a chant with lyrics. In this one is the rain goes drip, drip, drop, drip, drip, drop. On the roof it goes plop, plop, plop. So it's in 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Triple meter. after a major song, after another dupometer, after a song in, what was the first, I don't remember, okay? So this is how you introduce basically MLT into this type of frameworks. Now stay there a second because I need to go and open the door for a person, for the secretary of music tree. Okay, here I am. And you can find also this last song that I was telling you in the book, okay? And in the book you also have the little QR code to see the actual video of this. And then in the book, I tell you, choose how to end the lesson after observing your students. So I kind of give you a plan, but I'm telling you, don't follow the plan exactly as I want. Choose it after you are actually observing your students. But I give you 3 options, okay? One option is the sun. So you were doing the drip, drip, drop song, which you are around the drum for. So keep the same shape, but what comes after the rain? The sun. So you can create another game going around the sun. Or the rainbow comes after the rain. Get the parachute and make a very big rainbow. It's the same parachute. Nothing changes. It's the same parachute that you used 1,000 times. And then use the song that you prefer to sing about the rainbow. Or you can close again with a more structured song. And in this case, because we were in the jungle, and I remember there was one child that was very, very shy. He didn't participate to the sessions. I mean, he was coming to my sessions for a very long time. He's been coming for like a year and a half at that point, and he's never spoken, never sung. He almost didn't want to play even the drums. So shy that he was really struggling a lot. With this class, at the end of the class, he was going around the room doing a dinosaur. He was like, roar! He was like, wow, now you're bringing out all of these emotions that you kept inside for such a long time. So I needed to sing a song about dinosaurs. Of course, I needed to recognize all of these emotions that were coming out of him. And also all the other kids would have been pretty happy about the dinosaur song. And I did have a very nice dinosaur song that I've composed a few years ago, which is in Dorian again. Yeah, so I'm gonna sing it to you once, but you can find it on my Instagram page. And also in some newsletter that I sent a long time ago. It's a Dorian song. No, not Dorian, Mixolydian. It's a Mixolydian song because the dinosaur is actually called the Mixolydiansaurus. Okay? Rexy, the Mixolydiansaurus. And so I finished the class with this dinosaur song, which was, you know, in a mode. So not usually a simple major or minor song. And everybody was pretty happy. So the song is this. As I said, you can find it online on my Instagram page. It's called Rexy, the Mixolydiansaurus. And we also have a Spanish version of this, written by Shirley Madrid Madrid, probably, from Costa Rica. And now, guys, I completely forgot that I needed to do this live in Spanish and in English. Oh my gosh! I completely forgot. I just started speaking in English. Okay, well, I will put the subtitles on this. Okay, so. Rexy was a dinosaur. With its voice he could not roar. He was trying both day and night, but nobody he could fright. Then one day whilst on a run, Rexy fell down on his bum. The animals could not ignore sing the loudest roar. Roar, roar. I'm Rexy the dinosaur. Roar, roar. King of the jungle floor. So this song you find also in the book, but as I said, you find it in my previous reels. So on Instagram you can go on series, and in the series you will find loads of lessons like this one, and in one of them there is Rexy the Mixolydiansaur. I can't believe it, I forgot to do this in Spanish. Silly me. I might do it all in Spanish next week. I don't know. I have to see how much time I have in case, because it takes almost the same time to write down the the subtitles and redo the whole session. I will see. I will never do it again in the same way, so it would be a different session anyway. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed to understand a bit better what I mean when I write about these narration-based classes, and I hope that you find the ideas useful. As I said, you can find all of these videos, all of them, also the ones that are in my book, published online for free, okay? But if you want to buy the book, it's nice. Okay, so the song of a rain, the song of the dinosaur, the song of a train, you find it in the beginning. The ocean song, you can also find that. Okay, whichever one I sang two more popular songs, one from Brazil, one from Italy. So all of these is fine. You can find everything online for free, basically. Okay, so Monica says, molto interessante, grazie. Monica, you also work in a bilingual environment, right? You work with Italian and English, if I'm not wrong. So I think that this type of classes could be very useful for you to introduce different topics in different language. In fact, the idea of this live session comes from a mentoring sessions that I have run last week with a teacher in Italy, and she works in a bilingual school. So yeah, so basically it's all in it's a very good way of using this framework to introduce languages as well. Monica, non proprio. Ah, okay, all right. I might remember wrong. Shirley, I completely forgot to do this in Spanish, so I will have to put the subtitles on this, okay? It will take me maybe 4 or 5 days. I will find a way of doing it. Okay, so thank you very much for being here today. I want to remind you very quickly that the early bird for the music tree training, teacher training, ends in 2 days, okay? Ends on Sunday. There is this big discount if you want to participate to the course in Italy the next summer, but there is also a course in Central America next summer in July, 12th to 14th of July. I will be in Costa Rica running a 3-day course specifically for children 0 to 5 on these topics, okay? So music learning theory, circular music, narration-based classes, all of this is gonna be in those 3 days in Costa Rica. That's the first module that I run usually. And I hope to be able to go back to Brazil as well, where I've done a little workshop on what we do at Music Tree. So I hope to have the possibility to go to Brazil again and do that again. Or everybody comes to Costa Rica, which is a wonderful place. And sempre muito bom, Tiziana. Muito obrigada. And then we have this Italian training course, which lasts 1 year. And that's the only way in which you can really become a certified music tree teacher. And in that course, you would learn everything from 0 to adolescent. So body music, Gordon's music learning theory, all the music learning, all the music tree approach is going to be in that course. We've also 5 other wonderful facilitators that would be with me. So the early bird for that course ends in 2 days, on the 25th of February. Instead, this our course in Costa Rica. You have more time to sign up, but it's important that you let us know if you're coming or not, because we have to organize everything. I mean, we do have the spaces and we have dates, 12th to 14th of July, whilst the other one in Italy starts at the end of July. So if you have any questions anyway, please let me know, and you can also subscribe to my newsletter. You go to www, this is very Italian, to our website musictreeuk.com, and in the home page you will find at the bottom sign up for the newsletter, and there if you sign up there, you will receive all the information for the courses and for my next masterclasses. Okay? Thank you so much for being here today. You were a lot of people following, and it's very nice to hear that you are from very different countries, and get in contact, okay? Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.